Reena Sifer from Luna Wellness, thank you for joining me today on Brite Cast. Let's start off with a little bit about yourself and the business, and then we'll just see where it goes.
Sounds great. A little bit about me. I have Luna Wellness, which is a transformational coaching business. Let's just call it that. But my background is very varied. I'm a chemical engineer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm a nurse.
Okay.
And I started my entrepreneurial journey with a home bakery.
Okay.
So I kind of do a lot of things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Though. So we'll get into that. So what led you down the wellness path?
I was always interested in alternative healing. I did my high school science fair project on acupuncture back when nobody really even knew what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I remember going to this little old Chinese lady, and she was doing the things, and my mom took me there just so I could get some things for my science fair project. She gave me like a handful of needles. She didn't really speak English, and here's me like taping them to the board, trying to figure it out myself because I knew that there was a different way to heal. Like it wasn't always just, so wellness has always been part of me.
Interesting. So especially going the nurse route as well, are you still practicing or?
Not officially in that capacity, not at the bedside, but I mean, at heart.
But all that like led you to where you are now, like having that natural understanding, like getting into your podcast, which is practically spiritual. You're using practicality from how the body works and marrying it with spirituality.
Yeah, that plus all of the engineering, the structure, the physics, everything behind it. Yeah.
So at what point did it, since you've always been interested in it, what point did you think you could make it become a business?
Well, when I lived over in Germany for 5 years, it was basically like I didn't have to work. I didn't have to be a nurse. I didn't have to be an engineer. I didn't have to do anything but be a mom. And that's when I had the capacity, like I had more space to kind of go back to the things that were interesting to me. And so I started yoga, I started Reiki, I did all these kinds of things that I didn't have time for before. And it felt more like home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a good friend of ours who was, she's passed away now, but she was she got big into yoga. She had like a Christian background, but then she got into yoga and Reiki, and she did that on us for free to practice and everything. And it was really cool. So are you a Reiki master or whatever?
I'm not a master, but I am level 2 certified. So, I mean, the energy is so fascinating to me. But I am certified also in teaching yoga. So I got, yeah, lots of things.
Yeah. Awesome. So your life was, so you were a chemical engineer, you said, and that's different than nursing. So did you not like that?
Oh, no, I did not like that.
Okay. But it was a good job financially, probably?
Well, I only did it for a year.
Yeah.
I didn't even like it while I was studying it. But my dad was like, if you don't know what to do, go do the thing that makes you the most money. And I was good at math and science. I did all of those AP classes and everything in high school. And I was like, let's try. So
yeah. My dad kind of did the same thing. I went to school for marketing, but like the stats side of it. So calculus and statistics and all that stuff. And I did not like it. But I mean, it's somewhat led me to where I am today, but being more of a creative person, it was just like, I don't want to, but I got a job right out of college and, did it for a while and stuff, but it was definitely not satisfying.
No.
So you did that for a year and then you're like, I'm going to do nursing?
Yeah. I was in my job and I wasn't really being fulfilled in doing that. So I decided I would take some classes. My choices were either to be a teacher or a nurse.
Okay.
The choices I gave myself. I was like, that could be the capacity. I love children, like a lot. So I decided, if I could help kids, that's where I felt more at home, is with children at the time. And so I chose nursing. So I went to some community college classes while I was working for a year and just did. Luckily, I was still in Charlottesville at the time. So I got my engineering degree at UVA, and they had a 2-year nursing program if I already had a bachelor's. So I just went right into that after working for a year. And
yeah, Charlottesville's a cool town.
Yeah, it's
I like
great.
it a lot. So, you started this journey when you're in Germany, and you're doing all these, stuff that you kind of like, you're slowly getting somewhere. Or do you feel like more fulfilled where you're moving towards now?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely more fulfilled. This is definitely where I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
I know that.
Yeah.
It's just all the other things in the way. Like life here is so different than life over in Europe. And I mean, that's actually going to be my topic for my next podcast. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you describe yourself as a transformational coach. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Well, I feel like it's deeper than a life coach. People know what life coaching is, and I think that kind of stays on the surface level. So I call myself a transformational guide because, yes, it's coaching, but also it's really about guiding yourself back to you in that way. So I can't do the work for you.
Right.
I can give you the tools. I can show you how to do it as it's customized for you. A lot of times when coaches have their own programs, they are in a space where they're like, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is the same program for everybody. And we're going to do SMART goals, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and kind of motivationally that way. But really what needs to happen is for you to go back to who you are. And that's different for everybody. That looks completely different.
Are there types of people? Like if you can narrow it down, like, oh, you're XYZ type of person?
What do you mean by type of?
Well, I mean, like, so, you know, like the Enneagrams and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
do you like that kind of stuff? Do you see that? Or is it, you're really like, you have to know the person, their experiences, all that sort of stuff. And that's going to, you know, everyone's different in that regard.
Yes. Well, I use human design.
Okay. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
I have some questions about that. So why do you think so many people are stuck asking for a friend?
Yeah. Yes, of course. I think people are trying to do what everybody else is doing.
Okay.
I think they don't know how to be at home in themselves.
Yeah. And there's a lot of reasons for that.
Yeah.
People always say like, you know, you have to find yourself. I'm like, what is that?
What does that even mean?
I mean, I don't know. I can honestly say I don't know who I am. I know what I believe and what my values are. And sometimes I don't even know what my beliefs are, but I have like, you know, a general idea, 70%, you know, but like getting back to a foundation of who I am, like, I don't even know where to start. And that's part of the reason we're having this conversation.
I love it.
So, I mean, so if someone comes and they feel stuck, what's like the first step that you do for them? Is that the human design stuff?
It is the human design.
Okay.
I feel so strongly about what that gives you, the opportunity to find out more about how you operate, that it allows you a perspective that you don't really understand until you get the information from it.
Okay.
And then
We
you're
can
like,
just jump to it. So,
Yeah.
So what is it? I heard some of your podcasts. I was trying to be a good host and listen to some of your podcasts, which were really informative and very, you know, I have questions from what I heard. But you know, you talk about that in it, and I don't understand what it is. You said there's like white areas on stuff, and like, so what does it look like?
Okay.
What do I have to do to do it? Do I take a
Right.
test, or is it?
No. So human design is based on your birth information.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more on the woo side,
Okay.
I would say, which kind of scares people, but I don't really, the reason I chose human design as opposed to like astrology or something else that's more on that side is because it gives you such a great snapshot that doesn't feel like it's woo.
Okay.
And so it actually combines so much ancient wisdom. So it comes from the Kabbalah, the I Ching, Vedic astrology, the chakra system. It even adds in quantum physics, which is
That's cool.
basically like the whole package for me. And when I found it, it was everything that I had ever looked for. And it's been so incredibly accurate, probably for 99% of the people that I do
Okay.
work with. And so, yes, it's based on your birth time and where you were born.
So
and
time and date.
time and date.
Okay.
Yeah.
And location.
And location.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Kentucky, so that says something already.
Well, we'll see what your chart looks like.
Yeah. We'll have to do it. So they do that, and so it's just based on that. And like what do you enter that into a database, and it spits out this is the type of person you are?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, it's as simple as that. I have software that I use on my site, and you can plug in all your information, and it will give you what looks like a lot of information and tons of numbers, and like this body graph chart that looks like a chakra system, but it's 9 centers instead of 7.
Okay.
So,
what are the extra 2? Are they the same 7 and then 2 more?
kind of, but they mean different things in human design. Like human design is a whole separate language. And it is more difficult to kind of just look at it and say, I don't know what any of this means.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very much a different language. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it makes a whole lot of sense.
So it's kind of like when you get your blood work back. I have no idea what that means, but you can tell what it means.
Yes.
Okay. And so once you do that, you have a consult afterwards to kind of walk through what everything means with people. And you say 99% of people find that it's accurate. That's pretty interesting. Makes me want to do it for sure.
Yeah.
So after that, what's the process for them?
Well, I think that human design shows you where you're out of alignment. So it's kind of, because it's based on your birth, you have a picture of who you are meant to be. Like this is your baseline, your default. This is where you're in alignment. And when you talk about if this is like, for example, one of the energy centers doesn't feel like how you are actually operating it, and it doesn't feel aligned, it feels uncomfortable, like something's off, then you know that maybe that's the center that needs a little bit more work.
Okay.
Or, we call it deconditioning. So conditioning is where you let the world kind of tell you who you are.
Yeah. My faith growing up.
Yeah. And
which is okay. It taught me how to be a good person.
Right. Yeah. And I think there's so much to that,
Right.
And it's not meant to dismiss anything that you've learned or grown up with. You get to keep all your values. It's not telling you this is who you're supposed to be. And for me, it was a lot of my whole life was being put in somebody else's box. And so human design gave me the freedom to kind of step outside of that and say, no, that's not actually how I work. That's not how my energy works. I don't want to do it like that anymore.
And so did you grow up religious or anything in any way?
Hinduism was what my family practiced. And I was grown up with some of those traditions, without really even understanding what they mean or how to use them. It's just like, this is what we do. And I'm like, can you explain it? And I started giving some pushback and they're like, I don't know, this is just what you do. And I was like, I need more information.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. So was there a point that you rejected it or just said, I need to know more in order to be part of it?
I definitely rejected it.
Yeah. At what age?
Well, I think a lot of my younger years were like, we moved from Florida. Before that, I lived over in Zambia.
Oh, cool.
I was born in England.
Okay.
So there's kind of like a path for me, but I was young when we moved from Florida. I was like 3. So when I moved back here to Virginia, and I lived here since, it was more like it was put into, there were predominantly people who didn't look like me.
Right.
I mean, I'm Indian. I have dark skin. I didn't look like anybody around me. And so I tried so desperately to fit in. So whatever that looked like and whatever was different from that is something I was like, I don't know this. Can I just fit in? Because it was hard enough to be different. Like there's so many things that I wish were different for me.
Right. So you kind of molded yourself to whatever people, I mean, that's a common thing when you're younger to feel out of place. I had a guy on recently, he's Brazilian and he moved to LA and he was 8 years old and couldn't speak English. So he was trying to adapt as best he could too. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's fairly normal. So, is that the point that you started rejecting because it wasn't working? Like rejecting Hinduism or organized sort of religion?
I don't know if maybe rejecting isn't the right word. Maybe it's more like questioning. It was more like trying to figure it out, like what fit me and what didn't.
Rejecting seems harsh.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It does.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But I think that for me, there was a whole lot of pushback. It was questioning. It was like, why are we doing this? And for a long time, it's like, you just do the thing you were told to do. I mean, this is what you do, right? Especially in traditional Hindu families, you kind of just do what your parents tell you to do. Yeah. You don't get to question a lot.
Right.
And I had a lot of pushback, much to my parents' dismay. They were like,
you think that's the Americanizing of you at all?
Yeah, I think it was me trying to fit in, me knowing that this was different, me knowing that my energy worked differently. And it was when I learned about my human design, I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much more sense of like why I lived my whole life like that and why it never fit me.
Okay. That's cool. So with human design, did you have to go through training for it or something? Okay.
Yes. Okay. I am certified in a couple levels of that, plus learning different ways of how to use it, relationships, manifesting, all the things.
Yeah, I want to get into manifesting in a little bit.
Yeah.
So what are like some of the big aha moments that people get after they do a human design and like get your consultation about it?
Well, there are 5 types in human design. And when you learn your type, it kind of gives you the permission to be more of that type. So for me, I'm a projector, and that's about 20% of the population. Okay. The people that have the biggest ahas are usually people in the lower percentages. So a projector is 20%, a manifestor is 8%, a reflector is only 1%. So if you fall in any of those categories, you're going to be different.
What are the other 2 bigger ones?
Generator and manifesting generator, which also they have their own version of aha moments. Like for a manifesting generator, you're going to be, a lot of people who are manifesting generators have this ability to have very many, they have the ability to be very multi-passionate.
Okay.
And so they're also a little bit flaky. They're also a little bit kind of pivoty. They like to pivot often.
Right.
And
I've met a few of those.
yeah, to some people that looks like they're unreliable, unpredictable. Like people don't understand that energy. But
Or
when you
ADHD, some people would call it.
Yeah.
In some examples.
and some of this can show up like that. Like maybe that's just how you're designed.
Okay.
You know?
So what are the details of the smaller ones? The smaller percentage?
Projectors are 20%. They're guides. They're meant to kind of
I guess that's fitting.
yeah, hold together like the fabric of the universe, really. So we have a different perspective on life. We can zoom out and see things that other people can't see.
Okay. Part of me wants to be one of the smaller percentages.
Yeah.
So what's the 1% one you said?
It's a reflector.
Okay, what does that mean?
And that means you are literally a mirror of everything around you.
Oh, is that good or bad?
I don't know. It depends how you, it depends how conditioned you are, really.
Yeah, and it depends where you are, I guess. If I'm in Cancun, I want to be a reflector.
Yeah, right? Everyone's having fun down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do that.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So most of the people that you find are in those top tiers. How is that your percentage of the people you've worked with meet those 1%, 5%, 8%, and 20%?
No, those are just how the distribution of
the
people.
world of people that have done it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what they found. That's about that. And the 70%, so it's 35% manifesting generator and about 35% generators. And those are the people that are like the builders of the world. So they're the people who are here to do things. The caveat here is that you're only meant to do things that light you up. And so you're not meant to be stuck in something that you absolutely hate just because you have the energy for it.
Right, which I think a lot of W-2 employees are in that position. They're doing great work, but it's for somebody else, or not really. They're good at what they're doing, but they're not doing what they should be doing.
And somebody does need to do that work. So I'm not here to tell you that everybody needs to quit their job and like go follow their passion.
It's not right, but but you can find the good equilibrium of both, where you're using your skills in something you're passionate about. And I don't think that, I mean, speaking from my own previous experience of jobs that I had, like, talking about going to marketing or stats and stuff, I didn't want to do that. Could I do it? Am I good at it? But if I use that for something like maybe a nonprofit or something that like I could use that skill, there's a lot of things I can do. I mean, I consider myself somewhat a jack of all trades. I can figure it out eventually, but am I passionate about it? I guess in my older years, I'm getting to I'm passionate that I can figure it out, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just trying to
find the positive in it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, even though you have to make a living, right? You need income to live. Let's just be honest. That's just where we live in America and how things work over here. But it's about finding the balance, and that's somewhere else. Like if you have a job that doesn't light you up, are you doing something else that does?
Right.
Is there a balance somewhere else that you can put your energy towards?
Yeah. And I've struggled with that. Like with music, I kind of gave it up for a while because I have to make money. Yeah. But now in a place I'm trying to bring it back, because while I am passionate about making money and helping people with what I know how to do, I still have songs that come to me.
Yeah.
And those need to get out.
Yeah, they do.
Right? Like I feel like musically constipated a little bit, to put it in a certain way. But then there's I haven't done it in a couple years. Like have I lost the skill? Those are all
stories.
Yeah, they're stories that you make up. And I read The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, if you ever heard of it. And that's always convicting. Like there's resistance, and he gives a name to it. It's resistance that's making you not do it. And I've fallen prey to that over the last couple of years.
It's easy to do that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with you, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but when in what you're doing now, do you find resistance?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An excuse is not to do it.
Yeah.
I can put the podcast off till next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's just being human.
Right.
I mean, we've come down here to have a human experience.
Right.
And, you have to feel all the feelings and go through the things.
Do we?
I mean, we chose it.
Okay. All right. Let's get into that. So what do you think before and after life is, or in between, or whatever?
Yeah, I'm still formulating what I actually believe. But for right now, let's just say that I feel like there is some sort of soul contract that we create with the people in our lives and with ourselves, and saying we need to have, or we want to have, these soul experiences as a human. And so we come down here, and some of it's predetermined. of like how you show up and the relationships that you have with the people that are in your life right now and the people that have been in your life. Some of your greatest teachers might have been like, I don't know, they have different terms for it. Some people call it soulmate, some people call it twin flame, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to call it, but I think it's part of a soul contract.
Okay.
And so
you signed that before you come here?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're not just with the people that are your favorite people, but the people who have really taught you the biggest lessons in your life. For example, my ex-husband.
Okay. Yeah.
It was tragic on so many levels, but I can see how he played his role so perfectly so that I could grow in the way that I needed to grow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good way to put it, to find the good in it. I guess don't tell my parents that I signed a soul contract because I'm technically the accident baby. I'm the youngest. So my dad, I mean, jokingly, he didn't say that till I was in my 30s, but they weren't planning to have another kid. But I guess I signed a contract and said, no, I'm coming whether you like it or not. Yeah.
And, things evolve and they change. And I have one of those too. I mean, we didn't plan our third.
Okay.
And I would say that his due date was 11/11/11.
Interesting.
I know, right? And so when he came down, I knew, and I think I remember like rocking him one night and I was like, you came down here to save me, didn't you? And just his soul was so gentle, in a way that I needed at the time because things were not great at home. And he was definitely the light.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for the human design stuff, what's the most like common misconception that people have about it if they've heard of it? Like talking about it was the first time I've even heard of it, which is kind of surprising.
I know, because it is such a big part of my world. I'm like talking to people sometimes like they have some idea of what I'm talking about and they don't. And I'm realizing how many people don't have any idea what that is.
Right.
But I think, can you repeat the question?
Well, what's the big misconception? Once they learn about it, is it the woo-woo factor?
Yes. It's like, how do you know all that based on what time I was born?
Right.
And then it makes them not trust it. And I get that part. But
I think anything that is potentially true, just kind of sit with it for a while and see if it resonates. Think about it over the next few months and see if that works. And if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Right?
You take what works and leave the rest. And it's, like I said, not meant to put you in another box. It's just to give you a different perspective. Like, what if this was true?
Right.
Yeah.
So with the Enneagrams, do you believe in any of that sort of stuff?
A little bit. Yes. And, I feel like the reason that I have trouble with things like that, and even the DISC personality test and the 16 personalities and things like that, is that it's so subjective.
Right.
Like whatever you get now might be different.
Yeah.
In 5 years.
And sometimes I'm like, I can't really tell.
I feel like I'm in between things. Like It doesn't feel. So I do use them to kind of. People are more familiar with that. And so I do have some idea of how those things work. But I also know that that's subjective. Like this is where you are right now. And sometimes you can use that information and compare it to what your human design is meant to be and see how far from your baseline you actually are.
I'll use it as a tool to put you. Okay. Especially if you, because I've taken it and gotten not wildly different answers, but slightly different, year to year or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what it is. Maybe I should take it again after doing your human.
I was going to say, well, do this first and see.
Yeah. So you just go on your website and fill it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do that. I should have done it before and we could have talked about it. I don't care about that. So a lot of people, when they hear spirituality, they think it's woo-woo. How do you convince them of the more like practical piece from the engineering side and the science piece of it?
Well, everything that people used to think that is science now was magic at one point. I mean, including gravity. They're like, because until they could prove it, it was considered magic.
Right.
And what if that's the same for everything else right now? So much of what I know can be explained by physics. So it's kind of hard for me to say, I can't explain that. Right. There is plenty of stuff that I still can't explain.
And I don't think we're ever going to get to that point. Right.
But there's plenty that I feel like is rooted in science that people just haven't connected the dots yet. And they are. The science is coming out. All the things that were ancient before that people just did ritualistically.
What's like an example?
You know how like the moon works. so much of how the moon works and people do rituals based on the moon, it's like, what if there's validity to that? What if there's some science to that? I mean, the moon can rule the waves and so many cycles for animals and things like that. Like there's so many religions that actually have the moon based holidays and
Right.
you know, like it's hard to describe that as woo when there's so much tradition rooted in it.
There must be something.
And science rooted in
Right.
it too. So yeah.
So with the manifesting, I want to kind of do a deep dive in this. I don't have any questions, but they're in my head. Part of that was moon related and timing of it. So how does that timing work? Is it like a specific type of where the moon is at? Is it only full moons? You know, are there different things that happen at different times of the phases of the moon?
With anything that I teach, it comes down to your intention behind it.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So it's the lens that you choose to put on it. But what I teach when it comes to, like, I run a moon circle and we do manifesting at the
Not
new
a moon square.
Not a moon square. Nope, it's a circle.
Okay.
It's round. So we do manifesting at the new moon and then release and celebration at the full moon.
Okay.
And each one of those depends on what sign the moon is in and how you, that's based on the 12 zodiac signs. So it's all kind of connected in that way. New moons are great for manifesting. You can't see it, but the energy's there.
Okay.
You know, and you can't see the moon, but that's when everything kind of goes dark and you get to kind of lay out what you want your life to look like and different parts of what you're trying to create in your life. And when the full moon is out, I mean, there are so many people, that's where the word lunatic came from.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That makes sense because I've seen some crazy people on full moons.
Yeah.
Fights at bars would always happen on full moons.
And when I worked at the hospital, I mean, you didn't want to be there on a full moon in the ER because it's crazy.
Yeah. And consistently.
Yep.
Like, sometimes I would see how crazy people are acting and then I'd look up and be like, oh, there we go.
Yeah. It explains so much, right?
Yeah. And there's everyone knows that there's something with that. So you said there on the new moon is what part? Manifesting and release is the full moon. So what's the release part? Like,
well, at the full moon, we celebrate everything that has worked for you, right? And for both, we focus on gratitude because gratitude raises your vibration, which comes back down to physics. So it's like, how do you want to vibrate? What frequency are you vibrating at? And so real quick, the Hawkins scale is what I use to measure frequency. So like shame and guilt are very, very low frequency things. And love, enlightenment, peace are very high. And authenticity is not even on the chart.
Yeah, I heard you mention that.
Yeah. So I think that's amazing to understand that. So when you talk about gratitude, that raises your vibration. And when you raise your vibration, you're more available to things that you're trying to create and match in the world. So that's where you do it at the new moon. At the full moon, you celebrate everything that has worked and gratitude of things that have and haven't worked. Okay.
I like that because it's kind of like sort of church, but in a cooler way because you're actually, like what they used to do in the Old Testament, they would make like pillars of rocks or whatever, memorials essentially to honor what God had done, right? And so you're putting intentionally into, hey, I'm still thankful that it's going to happen or whatever, even the small progress that we're moving towards that. I think a lot of people, especially in the Christian faith, they just pray and they kind of forgot that they prayed. And maybe God gives it to them or the universe or whatever years later, and they forgot that they even prayed for it.
Yeah.
So I think having being intentional and setting the intent is probably a much better way to go about it.
I mean, it just feels better to me.
Okay.
Yeah, to do it that way. I think when you can name things and actually sit with them instead of saying, I just really want this. But the thing we're looking for is the feeling behind the thing we want.
Right.
It's not really the thing that we want. It's how does it make us feel?
Like if someone wants to be rich, they want security.
Right.
They don't necessarily care about the money. They want security. Or if someone wants a relationship, they want love. So you had a formula for manifesting.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's the beliefs that you have.
Okay.
Create the thoughts. And the thoughts create the feeling. Okay. And the feeling you have is where you take action from. Okay. And that gives you what you have now.
So how does that, let's do a scenario. Let's say someone wanted to find their spouse. So what would that look like for those steps?
The first question is, do you believe you can have it?
Okay. Yeah.
And that's a very deep question because people are like, I don't know, like if I'm good enough, I don't know if that's ever possible. I don't know, like, if you doubt, the thing is the universe always says yes.
Okay.
And so if you...
especially when you're doubting.
Either way, it's neutral. The universe is neutral.
Okay.
And so it's the lens and the feeling that you choose to put on it, your perception, your perspective is anything that gives it charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd read Power of Your Subconscious Mind, and that has kind of helped me over the years just because I don't think I'm a naturally grateful person.
Yeah.
I mean, I am about the things that have happened.
Yeah.
But not just the things that I've asked for that have happened, but not just the things that I should be grateful for. Maybe that's part of being an American possibly too. And having gratitude in the small things. So you said, so again, if they do believe it,
Sure.
next step is...
Well, that could create the thoughts, right?
Okay.
You manifest from the feeling
Mm-hmm.
because you're matching the vibration. So the feeling is what creates the reality that you have. So your mind doesn't know whether something is real or not. And this is how sometimes affirmations can work. But if they don't work if you don't believe them. It's not enough to just say them. You have to actually feel them as true. And the same comes for gratitude. I mean, if you just say, hey, I'm thankful for my house, but like, what does that really feel like for you?
I think a lot of people struggle, speaking for myself, like feeling that gratitude, like getting, I'm grateful for this. And you are, but like actually feeling something.
Yeah.
How do you teach people to like sit with it and get there?
It is sitting with it. It's how does it feel if you have it? Like, what would you feel like if you didn't have it? It's asking the questions and being really intentional about what that feeling feels like. And I know I can say that, but until you do it, until you experience it, is really kind of tricky. And this is what we do inside the Moon Circle.
Okay.
Is we deep dive into some of this stuff, and it's more on the introspective side of how does it feel to have this gratitude. It's not about just listing out 5 things. I think when people do like their gratitude journal before they go to bed, they're just like, I'm grateful for XYZ. That's it, the end. And really, you need to sit with it. You need to sit with it so you can create that feeling so that you can access that frequency.
Okay. So let's say I can. So then it starts to move into the thoughts, and then I start acting on it.
Well, so you have the belief that then creates the thought, and the thought creates the feeling, right?
Okay.
The thoughts are basically, the belief is the story that then creates the energy that's backing that up. So that's the feeling that happens. So if you feel like you don't really deserve something, you're going to act as if you don't deserve something. If you feel like you do deserve it, you're going to act like you do.
Okay.
And that's what the universe says yes to.
So kind of dress for the job you want,
That's
sort
right.
of a thing? Okay. So people that do that, I mean, it's such a practical reason, but they're kind of doing that. They're like, I'm going to get this eventually.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think the thing that people get mistaken on and hung up on is like, I asked for the thing, I did everything right. Where is the thing I asked for?
Yeah.
Right. And some of that comes down to soul contract of like why you haven't gotten it is because maybe it's not the right time. Maybe this is the lesson that you're meant to learn. Maybe this is an experience that isn't the right time for you, that basically you haven't, not that you've done anything wrong, but it's not time for that to come to fruition for you in the way that you expect it, and to be open to miracles, because things don't happen like you want them to. They happen like they need to.
And they almost never happen how you expect them to.
No, absolutely. And you don't really understand that the thing that you actually asked for, the feeling that you're looking for, did show up in a way that maybe you aren't seeing.
Yeah. I kind of prayed a lot for our band to be successful and all that sort of stuff. And it wasn't in the way that I wanted it to be. But looking back now, it's like I got everything I asked for.
Yeah.
I was able to play some really cool shows, and I had the friendship, the camaraderie, all the stuff that like I was wanting, or thinking that I wanted.
And I think that comes from wanting what you got was what you wanted from love. So if you want things out of fear, out of ego, out of anything like that, it's going to be much more difficult to attain that. So
there's definitely ego in my 20s.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's ego all the time, no matter what. But noticing, where that comes from, it greatly affects your manifestation.
So action is just once you have the feeling, once you got the important feeling, then just acting as if it's it's already happened or it's going to happen.
As if it's already happened, because your brain doesn't know the difference between a story and the reality.
Yeah.
So it's up to you to create the story as if it is already true.
So how do you kind of break that in people that are typically negative? Like I've struggled with anxiety and depression and stuff. And like, you know, it's tough to remember to do it.
No, I know.
Right? It's very tough.
Yeah.
So it may be just the moon rituals is a good way to keep people doing it over and over again. And, you know, practice
It is
makes
a practice.
perfect.
It is absolutely a practice.
Better.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a level of intention that you set. It doesn't mean that you have to do these things in order. It's the intention that you set when you're doing them. So, I mean, I think it was Stephen Covey who said it's be, do, have.
Okay.
You know, it's not do, have, and then be. It's you get the thing by being the kind of person who has what you want.
Okay. I want that house in Cancun.
Yeah. Be the kind of person who has the house in Cancun.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
I think I can do that.
Yeah.
So are there some big manifesting things that you found? One of the things I thought was kind of funny and I'm trying to be nice about it, but you asked for $10,000 in your bank account and then you got $10,000 after your house flooded.
Yeah.
Right. So it reminds me, we just watched this movie Obsession and he breaks this stick and he says, I want this girl to be in love with me, but he doesn't put any terms on it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of reminded me of what you did.
Yeah.
So,
well, actually so here's the thing. In human design, there's actually an arrow, which is a part of your chart that tells you if you manifest from a specific energy or you manifest from a broad energy.
Okay.
And really the thing comes down to like, yes, some things people do better when they do put specific terms on it, but other people do better when they have broad ideas of what they're looking for. They're more attached to the feeling. That's how you manifest. And so for me, it would have been better for me to say for the highest and best good of all at the end of that. Just add that to the end. Really, like right? But I mean, quite honestly, it's hard to say that that's how I asked for it and it was the wrong thing.
Right. Because
there's so many other things that came with it that it was interesting. Had I not had that experience, I wouldn't have grown in the way that I did. And so it's hard to say, you don't get the thing you want, you get the thing you need.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't like the answer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that there was other problems that you were going to have to fix at some point anyway, right? So, was the wish for $10,000, with that coming from like you wanted more security issue?
Yeah. Okay. It was more like, so I'm a 6'3" in human design, which means my whole life is trial and error. I'm like, let's play. Let's like, what happens if we do this? What happens if we do that? And it's kind of a little bit, like I said, it felt like it was careless on my end to do it like that. But also it was just like, you're going to be okay no matter what. And so the self-trust that comes with knowing that this is what's happening, what are you going to do about it? Instead of like, this is happening to me, it's actually, what if it's happening for me?
So have you seen any other like manifestation things in your life that you're comfortable talking about?
Yeah, sure. So I had a friend in Germany. She was my neighbor. And when she said that she manifested her husband, she said, I wrote down this whole list of qualities that I wanted in somebody, down to I could picture him. He was wearing a hat. It was a baseball cap and it was backwards and this. And she knew when he walked into the room that it was him, even though she had never met him before. And so I started doing that. I was like, okay, so, what do then is really kind of when I realized what I had wasn't what I wanted in my marriage. And so it started to dissolve at that point. And then the person that did show up for me did have all of those things.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big one.
It's a big one, right? Yeah. And so it was not intentional. It was before I really understood manifestation, honestly. It was like, oh no, I did. I got the things I asked for because what I had, it wasn't what I wanted in a relationship, in a partner, the qualities, the values, like they didn't match. And I was like, what am I doing here?
Right. And that's one of the biggest decisions that you can have. You know, your partner is huge.
It's huge.
I wouldn't say it's manifesting, but I had a dream, and I had met my wife before, but I was dating somebody else, but I had a dream that she was going to be the person. And I kind of just didn't think about it until we started talking it. And I was like, is this really going to happen? And now we're going on 10 years, right?
Wow.
But it was like a very specific, this is the right type of person for you.
So interesting, because I think we know more about ourselves than we give ourselves credit for. And I just got chills when you said all that. So that's how I know that that's an alignment for you,
right.
And that's honestly what you were meant to, and you didn't really realize that was happening when it was happening.
Yeah. And I feel like God, the universe, whatever, however it's working, there are certain times that I've had like visions like that. They're few and far between, but they're always exactly where I'm supposed to be.
I bet there's more if you pay attention.
Probably. I just had a crazy dream about a movie, so we'll see. Maybe I'll make the movie.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So with manifesting, have you seen that happen in the people that you train to do it? They start to see more and more of it?
Yeah. So one of the people in my moon circle, she just manifested the house that she wanted.
Oh, nice.
And I know, like, I hear the words coming out of my mouth and they sound so cliche. I just manifested my house, I manifested my dream life. But really, every house that she was shown didn't feel right. Something didn't work out for her. And she was just like, these things are happening for you. So this is not in alignment. And can you accept that every wrong turn, quote unquote, wrong turn is actually the right path? Because you're being shielded from the thing, and maybe the thing you actually want is waiting for you and just isn't available yet. Like there's so many things that are intertwined in it. And sometimes it doesn't come down to who you are or what you want or where you are or are not doing something. It's just not the right time.
Right.
And so when she did actually find the house that checked all the boxes, and her agreement, like her contract, had a bunch of angel numbers in it.
Okay.
And the guys are like, what is going on? She goes, I manifested this house, and this is how I know I'm in alignment. And like, it was everything that she wanted. And she'd been working on it for a long time.
Okay. So how do you said your husband's Catholic. How do you marry like normal religious, I'll say normal, but in America, normal, religious faith with like manifesting and more of the spiritual type of it? Because there has to be some overlap.
Yes. And I just want to clarify, he's my ex-husband.
Oh, ex-husband. Sorry.
No,
we can cut that out. I'll put X right in front of it.
Yeah. Yes. That's interesting, because I do feel like all of it's the same energy. There's so many religions out there that have the same underlying story.
Right.
And really it all comes from love. Every religion is based in the same idea, the same values of like, this is humanity. And if you look at all the different religions, they have in the scripture written things that you can go back to and say, this one's saying the same thing as this one. It's the interpretation of people who have used it as a means of control or fear that have changed that lens. And so I don't have any trouble with the religion itself. It's the people who are interpreting it in a way for control or fear that I have a problem with. And it really is, that's their journey. And I think that they also exist for a reason, because without them, it comes down to the idea of duality. Like you can't have light without darkness. And so it gives somebody something to compare to in that. And they all serve a purpose.
Well, I think if, even if you were a Christian, I think praying a bit more like the way that you're talking about is a much more realistic way of doing it. Because instead of being like, pray that I get the parking spot and then I don't get it, like, well, that's, you probably need to walk a little bit. You probably need to exercise. Maybe you got that spot in the back because you need to exercise today. Maybe you got high blood pressure or whatever. So I think that's, if I would have known that instead of just like a letter to Santa and then I don't get it, it doesn't, instead of being like, well, it's not the right timing. And I think, there's plenty of people that teach in the faith, more practical way that you're speaking about it. So I'm going to try doing it that way. Might come to a moon circle. So with the podcast, what made you want to start doing that?
I needed somewhere to put all the things that were in my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And you just started doing it?
I just started doing it. I'm like, I'm just going to start a podcast. Again, that comes back to my 6'3". It's like, let's try this. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like we had this space down here and I have a marketing company. Why am I not doing
why not?
Like, why not? It's fun to meet people and talk about stuff and, just see where it goes. Like, and I don't love networking events. I don't love them.
No.
I mean, there's some good ones out there. Like Grow is really good. I have to go to a chamber event today. Like, I just don't love that. I love talking to someone one-on-one that can have, and I can actually get deep down about whatever it is. You know,
I'm so curious what your human design is.
me too.
Yeah.
I know, we could do it live. I just don't know what time I was born.
Oh, yeah.
I know obviously the date, but I'll have to ask my mom. I got my birth certificate somewhere in the house. So once someone does that, what does like the coaching look like for you after that? Is it tailored to everyone differently?
Yep, absolutely. Because what's important to you is not important to the other person. And I'm not going to choose that for you, what's important to you. It's like if you want to talk about why you are disconnected from your family, then I'll tell you where that could possibly have stemmed from in your chart and like what you want to do about it now. If you want to talk about why your career isn't working the way you want it to, then let's talk about where that might have come from and how you can take steps towards, shifting that energy. It really comes down to energy and the energy you're putting out. And so much of it is subconscious that you might not even know is there.
For a lot of people.
Yeah, for a lot of people. And I think for me, it's not about like going through to your past. I think that coaching on that level, and that's why coaching is kind of a good word, but like I said, I feel more aligned to being a guide.
Right.
That I can show you where things might be disconnected and give you steps on how to move that energy. But really it comes down to what do you want?
Right.
And we work with that.
And what are the priorities? Because you might get rid of the first block and then there's another one.
There's almost absolutely going to be another one.
Unlimited ones, yeah.
Yeah, because healing is a spiral staircase, if you think of it like that. And, you might get the same problem. It might look the same in the same situation, but you're different in it.
Right.
So you're going to handle it different. But it doesn't mean that, you haven't done the work. And I think a lot of people get confused because you can do sessions, you can go to therapy. And I know people are in therapy for a long time sometimes. And they're like, I don't feel like I've gotten anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people tell me that like a couple sessions with me was worth like 6 years of therapy. They didn't even get that far because what's happening is I get to the root of the problem.
Right.
I can see it as a projector. I can see all the things and put things together as a puzzle that people don't necessarily see. And I ask the questions. Really, it comes down to the questions you're asked.
And people need to be open.
They absolutely need to be open.
Yeah. How do you make sure that they are? Or have there been people that aren't?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people that think that they're open and they're not.
Right.
And that's okay because I'll just meet you where you are.
Right.
And if that's the thing, then I just guide you towards finding the answers that you're ready to hear right now. And that often makes enough of a difference that when you're ready and get to the next layer, well, we work on that then.
Yeah. And some people, I mean, I'm pretty open about stuff, maybe not on camera as much, but if I went to someone like you, it's like, I'm trying to fix some stuff. Let's get this over with, So for frequency, how do you measure that? How do you find where someone's living in fear and shame, and could they be living in fear and shame in pockets of their life and not in others?
Yes.
And have joy and peace in other places?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of that I can see on your design. In your chart of where that you are. So the white centers, like you were talking about earlier, are where you are taking in energy from outside of you and you are taking that in, but you're also amplifying it. So if you're not aware that you're taking in that energy and you're kind of sitting in energy that's not yours, that matters, right? But also if you have a defined center, that means you make your own consistent energy in that. And if you're not living that consistent energy, the question is then why not?
It sounds like it explains a little bit more the introvert extrovert because that's kind of vague. But, there's like the introverted extrovert and all that sort of stuff. But like I can be around people, but certain people, I can be around them and be lovely towards them, but I'm drained afterwards.
Yeah.
And that shows up in the human design part of it. Okay. So that gives a bit more clarity because those are very vague.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, there's so many different layers to the chart that it could show up in different places also. But I think it does explain things like that, like why some people are empaths in certain areas and, why they are introverts or extroverts or, why they are happier in some even environments, whether you're working with people or by yourself or whether you do better, like literally on a mountain where you can see everything, or if you do better in a cave by yourself. You know?
I like a little bit of both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes a cave is nice.
Yeah.
Watch some Netflix and hang out.
I have some ideas. I'd be curious to see if I'm right.
Okay. We'll put it to the test. So with like finding out the people's frequencies, is there usually like one core thing that they're working from, or it's a bunch of different?
This is where I use my intuition.
Okay.
And this is where when I can talk to you about it and I can see, I mean, I pay attention.
Right.
And there's a lot of things nuances that people don't pick up on that I like to. You know, when I was little, I would always do the spot the difference, you know?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And it was like, which are the details? What are the details?
Okay.
And this is where I trust my intuition. And I don't really know like ahead of time, but I can pick up things in the way people say things and the way that they act and their body language and the incongruencies that maybe that they spit out. And so I think, and not to scare people, but the projectors have the ability to go deep. And that's why when somebody is open and ready for this kind of work, they get the transformation the fastest, because once you let me in, you know, and everything is very confidential. I don't want to scare people and saying like this.
Yeah, of course.
This is the thing. But I mean, this is my gift.
Right. And that's awesome that you found it.
Yeah.
You know, you always, at what point did it turn that you kind of knew that you had the gift, or that you allowed yourself to see it?
Well, when I was younger, I was always the person people would come to. My friends would come to me. They were like, how do you know these things? I'm like, I don't know. Even my mom was like, you're so wise. And I'm like, okay. It's just my perspective, right? And I think then I got married, and that was like the relationship that really kind of shut all of that down. It shut down my intuition. It shut down my personality. It kind of pulled me away from who I was until I could get back to that. And then I could go deeper, because at that point I had something to compare it to. I'm like, I don't feel like me anymore.
Right.
And that's when I started asking questions like, what's wrong?
So what led you to human design? How did you find it?
And somebody asked me that yesterday, and I don't remember, and I wish I did, but really I kind of stumbled on it. I think I found something. And when somebody was like, what if you X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, what is this thing that combines everything that I knew, like astrology and chakras and energy and physics? And I was like, this is the most perfect package ever, you know?
How long has that been around?
Oh, a long time.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not as long as all the modalities in general,
Right.
but like I would say, I mean, the founder was almost in the 1980s where it kind of blew up.
Okay.
So not that long. It's relatively new. And I think that's why a lot of people haven't really
Heard about it?
heard about it. Yeah.
That's cool. So you have like other courses and stuff that you put people into, or like long-term courses, or?
I have long-term coaching, and I don't really, the goal for me isn't to keep you like a therapist. It's not to,
Because some people can be fixed or get the tools enough
yes.
to.
My goal is to teach you how to fish and to let
Okay.
you go out there and experience it.
It's a very Jesus thing.
Yeah, right? To do the thing. I mean, that's really self-sovereignty is owning your everything.
Right.
You know, and I can teach you how to do that for yourself, because it's not going to look the same as me. And it's not going to look the same as anybody else. But once I teach you how to do that, then you go do the thing. And then, you know, once those tools are used and you're like, this is the next layer, a lot of times people come back and they're like, what do I do about this now?
Right.
Because, you know, I know how to do these things. I'm still using my tools. They're working. And I know there's more. And that's when we tap into the next level.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to hijack people. Like, I don't want to for a business, you know,
No.
but I can continue to help you if you want me to.
Yeah.
But there is a point that sometimes you don't need me anymore.
That's right.
And that's great. I want you to flourish and do everything, you know, that you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So in building a business, like, how have you seen, like, this affect the people that you're around? Have they grown significantly? I'd hope so.
Yeah.
Without naming any names, obviously, like, what's like the biggest transformation that you've seen?
Oh gosh. Well, everybody has their own, you know, and I think let's say there was somebody who I was working with that was in a relationship with somebody else, and I ended up coaching both of them.
Oh, okay.
Separately, of course, because what I focus on is relationships, but not as a couple. It comes down to the relationship with yourself.
Right.
And that's just one lens I put on it. But I also help people with business and everything else. So she was trying to figure out how she could be in this relationship or not be in this relationship. She ended up moving to Thailand and like really kind of digging into her own healing and her own growth and doing things her way instead of being completely attached to the relationship and letting the relationship define her.
Okay.
And that's huge. You know, that she was able to do that and feel comfortable in that and start to make decisions for herself. Because what I find is a lot of people, they get stuck in that nervous system response of freeze and they don't move forward because they don't know how. Yeah,
that's a good segue. So with the nervous system stuff, you said like allow yourself to rest. That's another one I listen to, which is I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. And what does like rest look like for, it's different for everybody?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's definitely different for everybody. Like for me, yesterday I took 3 naps.
Oh, nice.
Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I can just fall asleep, but that's because I honor that part of me. Projectors do need that rest.
Yeah, when you're taking in everyone's energy all the time,
yeah,
you got to actually rest. I wish I could take 3 naps.
You can if you choose it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think I have trouble doing that. You know, there's always something that has to be done. I'm pretty good on the weekends. I've gotten better, now that business is more stable and everything. But I really struggled with that when I was starting to build stuff. I would work 7 days a week. Yeah.
Well, the nervous system does do that. And that's what leads to burnout because you feel like there's fear behind it, right? Like if I rest, then I'm supposed to be doing something else to be productive because if I don't do that, I'll fail. I don't do that, then something won't work.
Right. And I've gotten to the place that like, you got here, dude. So just take a day off. Even God rested, like you need time to take the Sabbath, for lack of a better word, and just, actually relax.
Absolutely. But I think people think that it's actually difficult to relax in that because they feel like it's taking away like a big chunk. And so it's either like, I need to go on vacation to relax or I need to like set aside a whole day. But what if you just did it for 10 minutes?
Right.
You're scrolling on your phone for 10 minutes. Like, what if you just actually took an intentional rest break instead?
What is rest like? Is it naps for everyone? Or
no.
Is it just meditating or just...
Sometimes it's just sitting outside and looking at the trees.
Yeah.
Listening to the birds. Sometimes it's just, even if you can shut off all the noise, sometimes the noise in your head is enough.
Yeah. It's usually too much already.
Right.
For most people.
And it's just shutting off the stimulation, really. It can be enough of a rest to just acknowledge the things that are going through your head. Sometimes that looks like writing it down. Sometimes that looks like talking to somebody about it.
Yeah. Do you encourage people to meditate? Is that part of,
meditation is an interesting topic because I think it has this whole stigma of you have to be quiet and how do you know when you're there and like, you get to this space and sure, I mean, ideally that's where you're trying to go, but meditation can look very different. It's just a matter of you turning your nervous system off.
How do you do that? Is there a switch?
Yeah. There can be. It's about feeling safe in your body.
Okay. I think I struggle with that for sure.
A lot of people do.
My first panic attack was, I was 26. I was going to see Spider-Man 1 or 2, and I had 4 Red Bulls and 1 lean cuisine because I was trying to lose weight. So we think, I know the reason for that, right? That makes sense. But that kind of just totally screwed my nervous system for 6 or 9 months before I felt normal again. So how do you kind of get people to feel comfortable in their own body?
I sit with them.
Okay.
Yeah. I think until you can sit with yourself, you need someone sometimes to sit with you. Okay. And when you can feel safe, like that you are energetically being held in a way that your nervous system responds to. And like I said, it's different for everybody.
Right.
But it's holding that space with somebody, not for them. I want to be clear. I don't do the work for you.
Yeah.
But, sitting with you while you do it can sometimes just let you exhale in a way that you haven't given yourself permission to.
And that's, for the Jewish tradition, that's sitting Shiva when someone passes away. You're just sitting with them, letting them mourn. Or that could be the same thing for healing. They're kind of mourning potentially, or like coming to terms with whatever. And, that could be difficult. I think a lot of people want to talk it away.
Yeah. And, there is the throat center in your human design chart that some people, if you have that defined, you do need to talk it out. You process that way. You're a verbal processor. And that is the equivalent of any kind of meditation you could have, is like, can you just get it out of you instead of keeping it in?
And I think that's part of the reason that I found music, because it got all this stuff out. It's like I was saying earlier, all the songs that I wrote, they were kind of like everything that was like stuck.
Yeah.
And that's why I just got to start doing it. No excuses. I got too many AI things that can help me.
Absolutely.
Like I just got to.
I mean, pay attention to how you feel when you're doing it. And that's the thing you can attach to.
Yeah. I just love creating.
And that's when you know that your nervous system is safe.
Okay.
When you can create, because you cannot create from a fight or flight or freeze or fawn.
Okay. So, I mean, in the War of Art, he talks about just doing it every day. So, but I think without doing it, I don't know if I'd get the release. So is it okay to force yourself?
Not if you're doing it because you're scared.
No, doing it because you genuinely want to and you feel like, you need it. It's a form of therapy.
Absolutely.
For me.
So, yes, if you can build that structure, and some people are built for structure and some people aren't. And structure looks different. And I think the word consistency looks different for everybody. And so you get to learn what that looks like for you. And if it is doing it every day, then yeah, as long as you don't feel bad if you don't do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's definitely some guilt associated to it if I don't, which is not good. But if I have a song that's like there, then I should just do it. I feel like there's like a balance to it.
What if you took the word should out and made it could?
Could. Okay. And maybe maybe I'm given the song because it would be good for me to. And so I don't have to do it, but maybe not. Yeah, should is a tough thing.
You get to do it.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. All right. So I'm talking too much about myself.
No, I love it. I mean, part of me wonders if I ever do like live coaching, if anybody would ever be interested in that.
I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't know how intimate the conversations get. So it's got to be, dependent on how open and comfortable that person is with whatever they're going to talk about. But as long as they are, So do you get into like traumas and stuff like that with people?
I am trauma informed from a yoga perspective.
Okay.
Certified in that. But I think that trauma is more on a therapy side. And I'm not licensed to be a therapist.
Right.
And so I wouldn't want to cross that line necessarily without the resources in place for someone
So
to be
if they bring it up to say, hey, you should go to the therapist to talk that out.
I know how to do some things on a somatic level, when your body is going into some feelings and a place that, you might not want to be in for long necessarily. I can sit with you until that happens, but I also know when that line is going to be crossed.
Yeah.
And so, that's when we get to, hey, you might want to talk about this with a therapist.
Right.
This isn't my wheelhouse. As much as I would want it to be, I could probably help you. But for legal reasons,
yeah, of course,
I don't want to be involved in that. Yeah.
So how does like the Reiki work itself into the stuff that you do?
Everything I do is infused with Reiki anyway.
Okay.
It's the intention behind it. And Reiki really is just the intention behind it.
Okay.
And so it's a matter of putting yourself in that space. Reiki is universal energy, and universal energy is based out of love. And so, that's the energy that comes through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you do it in person?
I can do Reiki in person if you just want a Reiki session. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's just focused Reiki basically. But Reiki is
that
just
more for like physical pain and that sort of stuff?
It can be for lots of things. That's a whole separate topic, I think, really, because by the time it's shown up manifested in a physical reality, it comes from an emotional, mental space to begin with. And so which part are you addressing?
Right.
And I think it's important, and this is where Western medicine comes in, is that you can treat the symptom temporarily until you can get to the root.
Yeah.
And I think you do need both. Western and that. But if you aren't addressing the root, it's just going to come back.
Yeah, I was on some different SSRIs on and off over the years, and all it did was kind of give me some time to whatever I was going through at the time, just like I'd be able to sleep and, and then I would wean myself off because I don't like the way it makes me feel. But with what I was going through, it was like, I got to get something.
Absolutely.
Just, I work out 5 days a week and that helps. But, when you're going through something tough, sometimes you don't have the tools or time sometimes to deal with it, which is, that should be the most important thing. But
it could be.
Yeah. So for like, people, are they struggling with self-confidence, self-worth? Is it just a plethora of different things? Are there common things that a lot of people come to you with?
It usually comes down to the lack of self-love. Okay.
So what does self-love look like?
It looks like putting yourself first, even though people think there's judgment around that. Especially for people who are overgivers or overthinkers, or people who think that their worth is dependent on what other people think or do. Then that's where you get to break it down and say, but what about what you want?
Right. A lot of people don't even know how to start that.
No. And I think that one of the first questions I ask people is, what do you need? And people don't know how to answer that either.
Yeah, I don't know if
it's hard, right?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff, I guess, but I don't know how it would summarize that. But I'm going to think about it before our human design consultation. So you talk about self-awareness in one of your podcasts too. Like, how do you train someone to become more self-aware?
Self-awareness is definitely a practice.
Yeah.
I think you are noticing. It's coming down to, sometimes for people, it's really so ingrained in them, they're just on autopilot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the autopilot needs to be noticed. And when it's noticed and you actually stop and say, this is where I am right now. This is where I've been. And how many times did I do this in a day? And sometimes it's quantifying it, like keeping a journal. That could be helpful for people who are people who like to journal. I'm not a person who likes to journal.
Yeah. Well, that's almost more scientific though. Like you're looking at it and say, oh, did that again. Oh, did that again. Or how many times in a week? Maybe it's not daily.
Yeah.
Like one of my weird triggers that I've always had is like when someone starts eating before me and I can't find the right like TV show to turn on. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know what it is, but it's like I had to have this whole thing with my wife years ago, and she's like, she'll be finishing up making dinner, and she's like, "Have you found what we're gonna watch?" Yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah, you know me, but I don't know why. Yeah, I have no idea what that's about.
Yeah, I'd love to dig into that someday.
Yeah, am I hangry? What? Like I remember like that from even being a child and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, that could be. I've thought about could it be because I'm the youngest of the family, and so there's some like evolutionary thing that you're not going to get fed. I don't know.
It could be. I mean, it sometimes, and this is the thing with trauma, is that trauma can look different for everybody. There is big T trauma, which is the things that people mostly associate with trauma, but trauma is anything that your body feels in response to something that happened.
Right.
It's not somebody else's definition that says you shouldn't be traumatized by that. It's no big deal. It's like, really, if it's a big deal to you, your body is energetically holding on to that. And if you don't have somewhere for that energy to go, it just starts to compound. And so it's about learning what the triggers are. Right. And then finding someone who can help you figure out where they came from. But also, like, what does that feel like in your body and what does that mean? And one of the tools I use is called...
it feels like...
yeah, right?
And I'm fairly stable. I don't really get mad about a lot of things
it's
that
so
I probably should, So I read A New Earth by, I can't remember his name, Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
And one of the things he said is that when you get mad about small things, that you don't think that you're significant. And I was like, oh crap.
I mean, there's a good chance that's true.
I mean, yeah, on some, like, cause I don't, someone could wrong me and I'm like, I see that that's who they are and I'm okay with that, but stupid little stuff like the trash guy knocked over our bin or something like that, I'll get upset about.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Well, there's a lot of different ways we could go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to notice that that's the emotion that comes up for you, right? Because it's not the thing that just happened. It's a culmination of all the ways that you felt either disrespected or insignificant or like, why other people don't do the thing that they need to do. And really judgment of other people is judgment of yourself.
Yeah. For sure.
People don't see that necessarily always. It sounds like you came to that realization. So
yeah, I'm aware of it. It still happens though.
It still happens because I think that maybe you haven't found the root of where it came from and what does it mean about you.
Right. Well, I'll find out.
Yeah.
So how do people like break free of their limiting beliefs?
We have to find them first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they might not have limits in 90% of their life, but certain ones they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably for anyone, but there's some people that probably like their whole, because they're overly not confident, it's more hindering to how they go through the world.
Yeah. And again, like I will bring everything back to human design because it is just so comprehensive.
Yeah.
When I talk about it, is like I can tell you, like if you have this heart center open, that means that somebody else has probably told you your worth, your value, and you've accepted that as your truth instead of creating your own. And when you do that and you go against whatever that is, if that's your design and you're not living your own truth, this is why it's so important to know what your own truth is or what your energy is meant to do, because then you can say, hey, that's not mine.
Okay. Yeah. It's something that someone put onto me.
Yeah.
And I've just accepted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. Which I think is probably most people that go through the world.
I see it a lot.
Yeah. Well, and some of it is affirming and some of it might be in line with who you are, but there's other pieces that are not.
Right.
Yeah. What's like the biggest lesson you've learned? This is tough to, I'm sure, quantify, but in this guide situation, like what's the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself or your own growth?
That people are just going to do what they're going to do.
Okay.
And I think not everybody is ready for the kind of transformation that I want to provide for them. I mean, because I look at people and I know that I can help pretty much everybody, but unless they want it.
Yeah. Because there's probably people that come to you and they think they want it, but it's going to take work.
It's going to take work and that scares them. And so I just wait.
Yeah.
Because they'll eventually come to the space where they're like, yeah, no, actually, I kind of do need that.
Yeah. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing for me. Like I told you, like I said, it was more about, I'll meet you where you are, and I will say that this is where you are, then that's okay. There's not any judgment on my end because everybody's on their own journey and I don't get to tell you where to be or where you're supposed to be or where you need to be. It's more like, what do you want? And let's figure out a way to get you there. And
that's even a tough question for a lot of people. Not the need is tough, but what I even want, like, I don't know. I mean, I think I want some things, but what do I really want is a much deeper question that I don't think people. Yeah, I want a boat. Well, why do I want a boat?
Right. Why?
Because I like having fun with my friends and having community, and I love the water. I feel different around water.
Yeah.
I'm just totally different. Like we used to have a lake house at our access for like 4 years, and we don't get to go there anymore because they sold the house. And I'm like, ugh. I mean, we're going to the beach in a couple weeks, so that'll be nice.
Yeah.
But, so where do you see this growth? Where do you see the next stages for you over the next few years? Do you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is where I'm meant to be.
Okay.
And I think once I found that, there's no going back. Like sometimes I think about getting a job and I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? Like that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Because I'm not meant for 9 to 5. Most projectors aren't.
Yeah.
And I think honoring my energy in that is creating something that is sustainable and that lights me up from the inside because when somebody has a breakthrough, when somebody can at least take the next step, which they've never been able to do, or even if they take the step and then they go back to a pattern that was hurtful for them before, and then they realize it, like even that acknowledgement is huge. I mean, that's growth and people don't see it. And I don't think they give themselves enough credit for that. So where this is going for me is to expand. So right now I do virtual coaching for the most part, but I'm creating my first retreat in person. So I want to do more in-person experiences because that's where the transformation really kind of gets solidified, is when you can be with somebody and help them in the situation. So transformational travel is really big on
Okay.
my list. So
That's
I really
cool.
want to do like retreats that are bigger and in a place where they maybe wouldn't normally go.
Like,
Because anywhere, really. I mean, people don't travel.
yeah.
You know, like as much as there's so much growth in travel because it shows you who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
And my 5 years over in Germany, we traveled so much and I love it. I loved it before we moved over there, but I see the value in it.
Yeah, me too.
And again, my human design is there's something called an incarnation cross, which is your overall life purpose. It can tell you what you're meant to do in this lifetime. And mine is the left angle cross of distraction, which I know sounds weird.
Okay.
So every part of your human design has a gift and a shadow side. The gift of mine is that I get to take people out of their normal environment,
Okay.
distract them
Yeah.
in a way to show them a different perspective. And then when they go back to their environment, they can't help but it be seeing it from a different lens.
Mm. And travel does that.
Travel does that automatically.
Yeah.
And I would say my coaching does that. You know, but when you're in a different environment completely, that just adds to it.
And you're shutting off, oh, I got to finish this session and go pick up the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there like one, you said in one of your podcasts that you want to raise the vibration of the planet or whatever, right? Is that your goal? And is this how you're doing it?
This is how I'm doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think we all evolve. You know, we all have different journeys and we're evolving all the time. But when we do things together as a collective and you always absorb the energy of the people that you're around, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah.
And so that comes down to resonance and coherence if you want to go the science route to explain that. I mean, like it matters who you're around. And when you decide to change your vibration, you're not only affecting you, you're affecting everybody that's around you. And so by default, if you can hold that frequency, a higher frequency, that allows other people to assimilate to you instead of you to them.
Mm.
And so when you change even one person and one person chooses something different of a higher frequency, that person is already changing that. And when I can teach you how to do that for yourself, then it changes all of the dynamics of the people that are around you. And you get to choose what you're available for and what you're not.
Yeah. So if you choose gratitude, one thing that's interesting about it is like when you're actively being grateful for something, you can't be in fear.
Yeah.
Right. I've heard that said about you, but like I've been practicing it and it's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, so I do like Wim Hof breathing stuff every morning, maybe a couple times a day. And what I notice is I can hold my breath longer if I'm being genuinely grateful for something.
Absolutely.
And that's a weird thing.
Yeah.
People don't think, I like to put everything to the test.
Yeah.
You know, if you say that's how it is, let's see if it works, you know, and that's something that has like actually worked for me. I don't know if I can hold my breath for like 2 minutes now. And it used to be like a minute.
That's amazing.
But if I'm really in an anxious spot, I can only hold it for a minute.
Yeah.
And like I start, you know, getting weird in my body and stuff. But when I'm actually in like a state of gratitude, I can hold it for a long time.
Well, gratitude puts your nervous system in a parasympathetic state.
Okay.
So you're actually relaxed. So you can be in that rest and digest. You're not in panic mode. You're not trying to run from anything.
So how can you stay in a grateful or loving?
The more you do it, the more capacity you build.
Okay.
So as you build that capacity, then that becomes your new baseline.
Okay. So every time that fear or shame or regret or whatever comes up, you just move to gratitude and it changes you back. So
It can, yeah.
1,000 times in a day, maybe.
If you need it.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. One of my coaches, she would say, touch your nose and make a different choice.
Okay. That's good. Yeah. A practical thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Cause especially someone that you've trained yourself to live in those lower vibrations. You not knowingly.
You didn't intentionally choose it, but
Right.
You're there.
But you've practiced it for a long time.
Absolutely.
And you have to practice to get out of it.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty much what I got for you. So is there anything else you want to throw out there?
No, I could talk about this stuff
I know.
all day long.
I'm going to have you back for sure. I just, I want to go for 4 hours. So, well, thank you so much for joining me today. We'll definitely get you back again sometime. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. Awesome. This is fun for me and I love talking about it. So if anybody has any questions, I'd love to talk to anybody who's curious about anything
awesome.
we talked about today.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Thank
Thanks.
you.